Hey guys, welcome to a new segment that I like to call Darkness Response. You know, where I respond to things. Specifically rather, this is a video that's going to be responding to comments that I've received in the past, on past reviews specifically, at least in this case. Most of these are repeated things that I keep hearing in response to certain reviews. Most of them are really dumb. I base this on the fact that usually the things I'm responding to here were clarified in the review, it's just that people can't pay the fuck attention, but I'm not getting into that. What I am getting into is the actual things. I'm going to cover 4 games, 3 of them are Sonic games. The Sonic CD review was a pretty controversial review on the basis that I knew I was going in as the vocal minority. Most people think it's a really awesome classic, and most Sonic fans will tell you that it's one of the best Sonic games ever. I hate that frickin' game, and I went into great detail as to why. Many people disagreed with me. They liked the exploration, they thought the level design was okay. I think they're all insane, but you know, that's just a difference of opinion, and most people basically just said, hey, you know, it's fine if you hate it, but I really like it, that's great. But there was one thing I kept hearing that was driving me absolutely up the wall. Specifically, people kept trying to argue the point that I made about the super peel-out, Sonic's dumb little frickin' excuse of a spin dash in that game. Many people kept saying the spin dash didn't come in until Sonic 2, and that game was developed separately over in America, so there wasn't time to implement it into Sonic CD. This is bullshit. I clarified this in the review because Sonic 2 came out a full year before Sonic CD. A year. That is more than enough time to change a simple bit of coding, to add a spin dash instead of the peel out thing. There's no excuse for that, alright? It's not a reason. And if before you say, well, they're developed separately, yes, but Sonic 2 was out. Sega of Japan had plenty of time to see what the American team had done, and could have taken steps to add something that's a lot better than what they did. I'm sorry, the super peel out sucks and I can't stand it. In fact, it sucks so much that everyone kept clarifying this with me because people really want me to play it, and I still won't. In the re-release of Sonic CD, which is considered better than the original by most who have played it, they've added the new spin dash, which just further enhances my point that the peel-out is a piece of crap. I'm sorry. Another review that was fairly controversial for the same reason as CD was my Sonic Colors review. Why? Well, once again, I was the vocal minority, and I knew that going in. It caused a lot of problems with some people, because there's a lot of people who simply don't understand why I don't like colors. And to be perfectly honest, I don't know why I don't like colors. I just couldn't get into it. I just couldn't. I hated every single level in the entire game, and I couldn't stand the music, which was interesting because a lot of people came out and said they really liked the music. And I don't know whether it's just me, in fact it probably is, but I just thought it was all crap. I just couldn't get into any of it. But the thing I kept hearing in response to the review that many people seemed confused about is why I didn't like the wisps. It's because the wisps are overtly gimmicky, and it's not in the good way. It's not an enjoyable experience. The wisps just hinder me. You keep having to do the same stuff over and over and over again, and they start to get stale after a while. The game just forces them on you when they should really be an option. You should be able to just run through like a typical Sonic fair, but you can't. And this is really funny because I've enjoyed Sonic games that had weird gimmicks. Like, I liked both Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight. Both had strange gimmicks attached to them, yet with Colors I had little tolerance for it. Probably because the game almost mocked me by having the typical run really fast gameplay with these weird frickin' wisps mixed in, as if, oh, you just have to do this weird thing we added. It's not fun. It's just not fun to me. Again, vocal minority, I know, and you guys are free to like the game, but personally, I have little patience for it. And yes, I know, there's wisps in Sonic Lost World. I know. Okay, I keep hearing that too. But from the gameplay footage, it doesn't look like they hinder the gameplay at all. And if they're the ones that cause Sonic to do the new power-ups, well, those all flow well with the gameplay. If you look at the trailer, they all look like things Sonic could do normally, so I don't expect them to be a problem. Mind you, I don't hate the wisps themselves. The characters are fine. The actual designs for the aliens are fine. It's the powers they give you that hinder the whole experience for me. Next up is Sonic R, and I can't believe I have to talk about this one again. Let's be completely realistic. Sonic R is a really crappy game. It is. You'd think that'd be really, really apparent, and you'd think I wouldn't have to go into detail as to why it's bad, because there are people on this planet that to this day still argue with me about this, which is pure insanity. This game is awful. I went into great detail as to why. I explained more than enough. I went into more detail than any other review I've seen as to why that game is bad. I even made it a point to compare it to its main competitors, to further emphasize why it sucks and they're way frickin' better in every conceivable way, and there are still people saying, the game's really good. But here's the thing. The thing I keep hearing about Sonic R is that, well, Darkness, I really like the music. And for one, if you really like the music, you know what? Fine. Enjoy your Europop crap. You know, if that's really what you like, if you're into that shit, you know, great. You know, more power to you. I don't care. Because everyone seems to focus on the music with that game. And everyone's like, no, dude, the music's really good. I really like it. You can't say that. Yet not a single motherfucking person in that entire comment section, I swear to God, has tried to argue any of the points I've made about the gameplay. Not a single thing. No one tried to justify why there's only 5 tracks. No one tried to justify how most of the characters are clones. No one tried to justify how the fact that a lot of the characters are fucking broken, there's little balance to be had. And no one tried to justify that the controls are complete crap. Not one person. Everyone who defended the game either said, oh, it's really good and you're wrong, or tried to defend the music. Even if the music was really good in that game, even if I did think the music was great, it wouldn't change the fact that Sonic R is a complete piece of shit, so I have no idea why I'm even still discussing this game. Like, guys, come on. Like, you know, I understand there's a thing called respecting other people's opinions, I get that, but really? 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 You know what? If you like the game and you think it's great, then you know, you just have a grand old time. If that's what gets you off. Last but not least is, not a Sonic game. Yes, that's right. Not a Sonic game, I know. Every other one has been. The Ninja Gaiden 2 review. Not the Ninja Gaiden 3 one, though they were both the same review. We're speaking of the Ninja Gaiden 2 part, because that's the one where people got mad at me, because a lot of people really like Ninja Gaiden 2, which is funny, because I even said in the middle before I got into 3, I can kind of understand why some people like 2. Like, I can see it being a fun game, but there were people who were really mad about that, because apparently me saying anything bad about Ninja Gaiden 2 is just complete and utter horseshit. Okay, that's fine. But here's the thing, a lot of people tried to counter-argue me again, and the things they were saying were wrong. For one, there was this big issue where people kept saying, oh dude, the thing with the armadillo is fine because you can block explosions. For one, no it's not. It's a cheap shot, it's bullshit, and the idea of blocking a nuclear fucking explosion with your sword is retarded. But even if I could get past that, everyone kept trying to tell me you can block other explosions in the game. No, you can't. You can't. Let me try to explain this. There's a difference between blocking and dashing. See, with the controls and the way Ninja Gaiden 2 works, there's a dash move that you can do. That's how you avoid explosions. Holding down the block and then dashing forward will result in you not only avoiding other attacks, but also avoiding explosions. As far as I recall, if you just stand there, hold down the block button while an incendiary shuriken is in you, you won't block it. You will explode. Which is funny, because the way you block the nuclear frickin' explosion from the armadillo is by standing still and holding block, which is not the way you avoid every other explosion in the entire game. For some reason, this was a big deal to some people. And those people are dumb. No, seriously. That's the thing that really got me with this whole thing. They tried to defend the game by refuting the one point where I wasn't completely clear. They didn't try to defend anything else. They didn't try to argue the fact that there's infinite combos, or the fact that there's frequent glitches, or the fact that the game was fucking unplayable on launch. No, none of that. There was just, oh, you're wrong about that explosion thing. Even if I was, it wouldn't make the game any better. You can swim in lava, for God's sake. The recent Ninja Gaiden 2 review is amazing to me because it has presented me with what is undoubtedly the stupidest comment I have ever gotten on a video. No, seriously. I've been doing the YouTube thing for over 5 years now. Maybe 6. Close to that. Somewhere around there. It's been a long time. I've seen a lot of dumb comments. I have dealt with a lot of idiots, okay? This is the internet. I have received the stupidest comment I have ever gotten. Ever. Are you ready for this? Are you sitting down for this one? You better be, because you are never gonna be prepared for the level of absolute unbelievable stupidity. And for the record, before I say it, nobody go looking for the comment because it isn't there anymore. I deleted it because I don't want this to turn into, let's go attack people that don't like Darkness's reviews. That's not what this should be, okay? Because people have every right to voice counter arguments with me. I almost encourage that. If you don't agree with me on something, by all means say it, especially when I'm wrong. Like, remember the Devil May Cry review? When I didn't go into detail about Devil May Cry 3 because I didn't realize there were other things in the game? You know, like, things like that. That's why I encourage comments. I encourage people to speak their minds. It's when you're defending something that is obviously bad and you're not doing a good job at defending it. This is what that comment is. Here we go. Sigma 2 was not a fix-it game. That would imply Ninja Gaiden 2 was broken, when in fact it's the most well-constructed and functional game you'll ever play. Sigma 2 was made so that the PlayStation fans could have the Ninja Gaiden 2 experience. Get your facts straight. This is so biased and inaccurate. Ninja Gaiden 2 is the most well-constructed and functional game I'll ever play. Really. We're talking about the same game that was unplayable at launch, that would freeze at a certain point and not allow you to beat it unless you go into your 360's hard drive and delete all the updates. We're talking about the same game that enemy AI doesn't know how to judge altitude properly, and will also frequently run off cliffs as if they're chasing you, in which they can't. We're talking about the same game that has werewolves that get stuck on dining room tables, which, by the way, at launch they didn't know how to get on said tables. We're talking about the same game that has frequent infinite combos with almost every single weapon, and also boils down combat to simple button mashing rather than legitimate strategy. And we're also talking about the same game that allows you to swim in molten lava. Guys, the moral here is that if you're gonna make any kind of counter argument about anything, make sure what you're saying doesn't frickin' make you sound like a fucking moron at the end of the day. And make sure you're not focusing on things that don't make a situation any better. Like saying the music is good in Sonic R, oh that makes the game so much better, even though everything else about it is terrible. Or saying that I was wrong about the explosion thing in Ninja Gaiden 2, because you ignored everything else wrong with it. You know, I think you get the picture. I'm sure most of you do, because I know you guys well enough. Like, I don't really know you, but I know you, if that makes any sense. It probably doesn't. What I mean is, most of you I've seen the comments from, and the vast majority of you seem like reasonably intelligent people, and probably already know what I'm trying to explain to you. So, I'm not gonna get all preachy and act like you're all idiots, because I know you're not. And in fact, to be perfectly realistic, I think most of these comments today have come from people that aren't subscribers, so, you know, I'm not even sure why I made this video. But you got a video. See, I made a video for you guys. You guys should be happy, I think, unless you're gonna be all like, Darkness didn't make a review, he made something else. That's not good enough for me. Why aren't you making Sonic reviews, Darkness? That's how you're gonna be? Is that how this is gonna go? Is that how we're gonna do it? Is that how this is gonna Gonna fly? Well, that's just fine. This is fine. Till next time, this is Darkness, and I bid you all a fond farewell.